The following program is sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler Television Network.
Welcome to Today's Home Remodeler. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show, we're following along a major kitchen and whole house remodeling project. We'll begin by meeting with our contractor, Andy Lindis from Lindis Construction, who will walk us through the kitchen remodeling in this 100-year-old home. Next, we'll head out to Gearhart's, the kitchen and bath store, to learn about design and take a tour of their showroom to see how products are selected for a new kitchen. And we'll finish up today's show with a walkthrough of our completed project and see firsthand the transformation of the spectacular kitchen. So we have a lot to cover today, and we'll get started right after these messages. In our last episode of Today's Home Remodeler, we were following the whole house remodeling of this 100-year-old home. The project includes a new kitchen, a new deck, windows, doors, and a need for a lot of carpentry experience. So let's meet up with our contractor Andy Lindis from Lindis Construction to see how the kitchen is coming along. Well, Andy, the guys are making great progress on this whole house remodel. And, I have to chuckle because you told us earlier that the reason these homeowners contacted you originally was just to simply reface some cabinetry, yet look what it's turned into. They are going to be so excited when they see the end result.
It's really the best part of my job is to be able to help homeowners realize their dreams. Every time they walk into here now, I know they're going to have a smile on their face, and really, this is something that's going to last them years and years and years.
Well, I know earlier we talked about the challenges of dealing with a 100-year-old farmhouse, and you were able to sister in some studs and, plumb up the walls. But just because you plumbed up a 100-year-old home doesn't mean that it's perfectly square. So I'm sure there were still some challenges when it comes to installing, especially the cabinets.
Even though we were able to work on a lot of that wall, there are still two walls of the house that weren't really touched. We weren't really digging into. And I've told you before about this floor. We have one type of underlayment here, maple hardwood floor over there, and then in the new addition of the house, OSB over there. So there's a lot of challenges in laying the floor, and you want to make sure there's any dips and dives in different places, which is inevitable in a 100-year-old home. So you try to get everything as square and plumb as possible, but it really comes down to tricks of the trade and having a guy you can trust that all he does is install cabinets to make sure when these are installed, they look perfect.
And when I walk in here, you could never tell that it isn't necessarily square. You can't tell that there's a swale in the floor. No. Your eyes are drawn to the focal point, which is the cabinetry, at least at this stage, and it looks perfect. Now, the first thing I notice here, since it's not finished, is how much you had to shim, and that is strictly because of the swale in the floor.
Swale in the floor and the height of the kitchen, but that's not what's actually holding the cabinets up. You remember, we put plywood all along these walls, so not only can we fasten into the plywood, we also drill into the actual studs themselves, so all of these cabinets are fastened directly to the wall and then supported underneath with the shims.
And again, a trained professional, experienced professional like Mike, he's experienced projects like this, so this isn't daunting to him. He walked in, and I've seen him. He's just methodically going through, and if he needs to cut things, it seems in my eyes anyways, that it's no big deal. He makes it work.
If our cabinet installers were people that just did it, once a month, and the other parts of the month they're installing decking or they're installing windows, then you could run into some issues. But our guy, all he does is cabinets. That's it. I mean, every day he's working with cabinets, so he knows how to make everything look perfect. And that's big, especially in a kitchen. It's not just quality materials, the quality of installation when it comes to kitchens that really makes it work.
Sure. Well, over here, this is going to be another central gathering place, in my opinion, and that is a massive island.
It is. And if you notice here, we have a false wall built here, but a 12-foot long island. This is really where I think everybody's going to spend the majority of their time.
Okay, so why'd you have to build a false wall?
Well, a couple of different reasons. One, we wanted to make the island a little bit wider. And when you do that with a cabinet, for me, that's a lot of wasted space. I mean, you try to get into the back of those drawers or some of the shelving area, and that's really hard to get all the way back there. And plus, for a space that's really not going to get used, it makes no sense to have an expensive cabinet maker make it when you can just build a false wall and then order the paneling directly from the cabinet maker to match the cabinets.
Okay, and so as we're looking here for the viewer, you're talking about why make the cabinets this deep all the way this far out, because back here, that's where stuff goes to die and vanish. I mean, I have so many junk drawers at home because mine are deeper, and I wish I would have had a contractor like you explaining that to me, helping me with the education process and understanding why I don't need a 3 or 4 foot deep drawer.
Yeah, it's not like it was a ton of extra work for us. I mean, we got this wall up in about 45 minutes, going to put the paneling on it, countertop goes over, and no one will know that it's not an actual cabinet.
Okay, and what was going to go right in this hole? This must be some type of range or cooktop?
Yeah, homeowner's very excited for this. It's a 5-burner Wolf range, and as far as bang for your dollar goes, that Wolf range, everybody I know that has one absolutely loves it.
Oh boy, and I remember the challenges you talked about with the draft hood above and all the different joists up there, but we already covered that, and now I see why you went to that trouble to do it perfectly, because if the range is right here, you want to be able to exhaust it properly.
Exactly.
And, that brings me to my next question. This is a whole house remodel, but when you're talking about the kitchen itself, there's all new appliances. Someone like yourself, do you assist the homeowners with that process? Because really, you're building the kitchen around those appliances.
Absolutely. I won't order cabinets until the appliances are picked out. And more often than not, I'm sending them to my good friends at Warner Stallion. We've worked with them for many years. And I know when I can send a customer into those doors, they're going to walk out not only happy with their pricing or the selection of appliance they got, they're also going to walk out with the exact schematics of every one of those appliances that I can put in my cabinet maker's hands, send them down to the Omega people in Iowa, and they can build each one of these cabinets so it's custom fit to the Sub-Zero fridge, custom fit to the Wolf double oven, custom fit to the 5-burner range. I mean, every one of these cabinets were made specifically to fit that appliance. That's important.
So it's not crazy when I say build your kitchen around your appliances, because that's why you have a kitchen, is to house the appliances, to cook the food, and ultimately be a central gathering place of people here. That's why you have the island. You just want to make sure that everything fits when it's on site. Now, are you going to make sure that they're delivered and that everything's connected also?
Oh yeah. When the appliances show up, we want to be there, and we're going to work with Warner Stallion, either have their installation team install them or my installation team install them. So one, we make sure everything's working, but we can see them ourselves go into the cabinet and install them. I mean, you've spent a lot of money on these cabinets. Last thing you want is somebody that's never installed appliances before. These are people that are really good at what they do.
Big component of this were the windows and the front entry door.
Yeah.
So when you talk about installation of a window, walk us through that. They seem to make it look pretty easy, but I think that's because they're experienced professionals.
Jake and Jim are as good as window installers get. The roof that we had to build with this projection window on the outside, all done in one day, it's pretty awesome. It's not only going to look great from the outside, but this is going to be a showstopper right here in the kitchen. When we ordered this window, we specifically designed it so the countertop can go directly up to the glass. It projects out 10 inches. You can put your plants there, whatever you want, and really it's like making the room wider without having to bump out the wall.
A couple things I was impressed by with the installation. They put insulation all the way around. They were concerned about energy efficiency. But before they even got to that stage, I peeked in when they were tearing out the old bay window. And the funny thing was, I was expecting to see rot. Heck, it's a 100-year-old house. It was probably a 20-plus-year-old window. There wasn't any. So whoever installed it originally did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was actually about 25 years ago, and they did do a good job because we were the original installers. You know, it's one of the things I looked at too. I just wanted to see something that we installed 25 years ago had no rot, nothing to worry about. We didn't have to replace any wood. I mean, you and I have been in a lot of projects. How often are we taking apart a 25-year-old window where we don't have any rotten wood to replace?
I'd venture to say, on one hand, we can count the number that we've seen.
Exactly.
That is awesome to know. And now with the advancements in technology, especially when it comes to energy efficiency and rot prevention, these homeowners are never going to have to worry about that. And man, that projection window is so awesome. I can't wait to see the end result. Stay tuned. We'll be learning about kitchen design and product selection next as we head out to Gearhart's, the kitchen and bath store, when we continue with today's Home Remodeler. To start a kitchen remodeling project and establish a working budget, you first need to select an experienced contractor. You then need to work with the professionals to design and select the products for your new kitchen. So let's once again meet up with our contractor, Andy Lindis, and head out to Gearhart's, the kitchen and bath store, to learn about cabinetry design and take a quick tour of their showroom. Oh, Andy, I just love coming out to a kitchen and bath showroom. I mean, anybody going through a remodeling process, like the one that we're following on today's show, it is so valuable to be able to come out here and touch and feel and see different products that can really turn a house into a home.
You can only see so much from a brochure or even a computer rendering. For me, getting out to a place like this and our great partners in Gearhart's, where the customer can walk through the different kitchen settings, hold the cabinet, see the countertop exactly to that cabinet or that hardware, or pick out the faucet, it all really starts to come together. And most importantly, the homeowners know what they're getting before we even start the work. It really lets you finish that whole design phase and move on to the remodeling phase.
Oh, Andy, I just, again, love a room like this. And what we see here are the components that not only make up the cabinets, but tie in to the cabinetry, like the countertops here.
Almost every style of countertop, almost every style of hardware, and any cabinet style or makeup that you can think of, we can find here, and we can hold them against each other, see what colors go well. It really lets you have the vision of what the end product is going to be.
So you're saying take like a sample like this and come over and start looking at cabinetry doors here and say, oh, I wonder if that's going to match up, or if this, or if there's flecking in any of it.
When we first sit down with you and you decide, hey, I'm going to go through the design process and see if kitchen remodeling is for me, we're going to set up an appointment. You're going to come here to the Gearhart showroom, and you can really start to pick out the type of cabinets you want, the style of countertops you want, which is really going to help us get that price so you can figure out if this is for me or not.
It's just endless. And then I love on the back here how they have pictures of different kitchens with this cabinetry that really help visualize.
Yeah, I like this color. Here's what it looks like. I like this color, here's what it looks like. And chances are, people out here at the showroom actually have examples of projects that they've done, not to mention all the different kitchens we can walk through here that are using all of the things that you're seeing here.
And there's door fronts and drawer fronts.
Yep.
And then, what's over in these ones? Sure, all the hardware. I mean, look at all this. There's just a plethora of different types of hardware, different styles, different colors, different finishes. I mean, there's probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of different choices out there. It's got to be overwhelming to a lot of homeowners out there when they consider remodeling their kitchen, but they didn't realize they have to make these kind of choices.
That's why you have to rely on the experts. They know what the vision is. They know what colors look good together, what hardware would go good with that color cabinetry or that color countertop. So it all comes together at the end, and you're going to be a very happy customer.
Oh, Andy, I really like the look of this one. Pretty basic kitchen, but I like the details. And the beauty is in the details, in my opinion, when I take a look at the backsplash there, adding some depth, some design.
To be able to visualize what you can do, be able to see how this goes with this, and this countertop goes with this color cabinet, and how everything works, in my eyes, is the only way you can do that.
And be curious, it seems to me. I mean, any of the vignettes you visit, I mean, just like I'm doing right now, opening up. I mean, I love these little details in the different drawers, and just be curious as to what's there. And is it a good idea to really make a mental note of what you like and what you don't like in different vignettes? I would think that would help the designers.
Absolutely. Have a notepad or have your phone out and you're taking notes along the ways, because there's a lot of things that the cabinet makers have done to make our lives easy and more efficient inside the kitchen. There's different styles that you can choose from, yes, but what these cabinets do and how they store things have come light years in the last 10 years.
Oh, I like this one over here, a modern cottage kitchen. Oh, what is this for? Dishes?
Yeah, you know, this is a pull-out drawer, and a lot of times everybody's dishes are up high cabinets, you know, and hard to get to. It's a nice area. You can customize it to fit any size dish, and a lot of our customers are choosing this nowadays.
And I love the little touch, the different kind of obscure glass with the lighting within the cabinet and underneath for functionality and aesthetics.
It's amazing how much lighting adds to the design of a kitchen, for sure.
And talking about adding to the design and functionality are the faucets that you're going to have to get in the different hardware.
Well, you saw the wall of faucets here. I mean, every aspect of the kitchen can be chosen here, and you can make sure you're making the right decision for your style. So once you have your countertops picked out, your cabinet picked out, the hundreds of different faucets here that you can choose from, and the ones that you choose here are going to be the kind that last a lifetime.
Oh, and here again, out of sight, keeping things out of sight yet accessible.
Yeah, you know how everything seems to get buried in the back of your pantry, you don't know it's there. Having pull-out drawers, just another thing that makes your life easier, and these are the type of drawers that, again, are going to last for as long as you own your home.
Well, Andy, another wall of faucets, and it's just one of many in this showroom, just gives an idea of all the different choices for homeowners.
I know, the styles are endless, and I think you have to see this stuff in person in order to make a decision. Looking at a brochure just doesn't do some of this stuff justice.
Sure.
Like this kitchen here. You know, I know it seems like a small thing, but these shelving units that are made out of the same material the cabinets are, so they're matching the cabinets, put inside the kitchen, give homeowners a chance to customize things to themselves. It's never going to be the same. You can change the decorations throughout the season or whatever you want, but it's something small that goes into the design process that really makes that kitchen theirs.
What about the corner areas?
This is awesome. This is one of the best cabinets in the place in my eyes. No more dead space in the corner, and it's not your typical lazy Susan where something gets stuck behind or it gets out of whack and doesn't turn anymore. You know how it is. It's always the thing in the corner that you never get to.
And look at these. Are these actual operable doors? Sure. I've never seen them lift up like that.
Yeah, and the lighting, really, when the lights are out in a kitchen like this, these doors just make things pop. It's something unique that you don't get to see in a lot of places. Well, if you hadn't come to a showroom like this and seen something like this, you probably wouldn't even know it was an option.
Is it best to stop in here? Is it best to set an appointment? How do you recommend they do it?
I think that the process is important. I think the first thing you should do is do some research online. Know kind of what you like. Call us, have one of my designers come out to your house. We're going to look at that space, give you some ideas, talk budgets a little bit, and then we will set up an appointment for you to come here to meet with the designer at Gerhardt Showroom and help pick the countertops, the faucets, the cabinets, and really start to nail down the design features of the cabinet. And when you leave here, you're going to know what the end result's going to look like, and you're going to count the days until we have it done.
Stick around. We'll see how the kitchen turned out in our whole house remodel next, here on today's Home Remodeler. So far in today's show, we've been following the kitchen remodeling process on this 100-year-old home. And we learned how it takes a team of professionals to tackle a project like this. From establishing a budget to designing and selecting the components, and most importantly, overcoming all of the challenges with a great carpentry crew. So let's head out to our project to see how the kitchen turned out with Andy Lindis from Lindis Construction. Oh my gosh, look at how beautiful this is. You know, it's the type of kitchen that I wouldn't expect in a 100-plus-year-old farmhouse.
Yeah, you know, it's quite the transformation. I mean, the old kitchen stopped right here. And then they had a bunch of wasted space over there with a table that just had, was a catch-all for everything. So it's a much, much more functional kitchen, and they are ecstatic with it.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about when they started. As I recall, the homeowners originally contacted you because they wanted to do some cabinet refacing. Mm-hmm. And it turned into not only this incredible kitchen remodel, into a great room remodel. They had it on the deck. I mean, are you seeing more of this? Is this really trending when you have people call you?
Yeah, every time when we go to an interior model, it seems like they're opening up this space. They want to tear down a wall. Like me, if we're entertaining, I'm usually in the kitchen. I love to cook. And if you're not in a place like this, you're going to be away from where the party is. You're kind of isolated off to your own. So anybody that spends a lot of time in the kitchen wants it to be one big open area. They want to be part of the fun. And as far as functionality goes, It's much, much better than the old drop soffits, and it was kind of a dark and dungy area. It's just much more modern for an old house like this.
Sure, well, let's take a quick walk through and see some of the elements that make up this beautiful kitchen. I know they went with all new built-in appliances, and they really do look like furniture when they're built in.
We worked with the great folks at Warner Stallion, and we went to Warner Stallion and picked out all of the appliances with the customer, got all of those sizes over to Gerhardt's, who's building the cabinets, to be custom fit around whatever appliances that we choose. So it really did turn out well, and they look great. I mean, the Sub-Zero fridge, when it comes to refrigerators, is about as good as it gets.
Look at this. I'm just kind of being curious here and nosy, but I mean, there's another example about at Gerhardt's, how you can see examples of different Lazy Susans. You can see examples of the shelving here. I was wondering, how would those ever fit into a kitchen? Now I can see. It's beautiful.
I can tell you one thing. If we didn't have the customer go through Gerhardt's, that type of Lazy Susan would have never been picked. These shelves would have never been picked. This type of sink would have never been picked. Being able to visualize stuff like that really helped the design process come together.
And you know, I look at it, I see a projection window, the tile goes out here. I love this projection window over here.
We built these windows custom for this house to project out about 11 inches, and then we came in, measured the countertops to fit, so it just all kind of dives in there, makes it look like it was the original window of the house. It makes this room just look wider.
Yeah, it does. That coupled with the flooring running all the way into the great room. At the end of the day, when I look around at a major remodel like this, 100-plus-year-old farmhouse, I can't tell that that's what you were working with. And that's really a compliment to the team that you put together, because I remember these were out of plumb, out of square, out of level, but you look at the trim work and it's remarkable how tight it is.
I remember when we took a floor-to-ceiling measurement when we started, there was 2 inches of difference. That's how out of level this home was. So don't get me wrong, there was plenty of head scratching at the beginning of this project, trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do. But to be able to get to this point and know that how out of whack this house was, like you said, hats off to the guys I work with every day. I mean, 8 different crews coming in here throughout this whole project, from countertop guys to the tile guys to the finish carpenters, the cabinet guy, the guy that laid the floor, the appliance guys, the decking guys. They all came through here and were working with one thing in mind. Let's make this look like it's a brand new home.
And you know, it's been a great project to follow along. Again, a project that started with a need for cabinet refacing, turned into a major whole house remodel, both inside and outside. But it shows the viewer, if you want to dream, what you can accomplish by working with the competent professionals and having a one-stop contractor with the team in place to help you really have your dream become reality.
I put my team up against any other contractor in the world for being able to come up with ideas to make a place like this look the best. This is where I think we shine. Don't do a lot of new construction, but when it comes to remodeling, we can really take an old house and make it look modern.
Well, seeing is believing. It's been great following this process. Thank you for sharing this one with us.
It's been my pleasure.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler Television Network.